You need this sort of, quite highly efficient, manufacturing, engineering, it's going to be structured in this way and this is how we're going to do things, brackets, software and things is going to allow us to be a little bit more flexible. But, you're not going to get away, even in this, newer world of digital and everything being more creative, you're not going to get away from a certain amount of rigidity, rules, governance and things that you just have to do to be efficient and to be smart. And Germany, you are right, does that very well. It does stifle innovation. So therefore, what you have to do is you have to create slightly different environments for that innovation. So the way that Siemens does it, we'll get involved with startup companies. So we'll invest with private equity money in smaller companies that sit outside of Siemens, and see whether we can, incubate some innovation and R&D there, or we'll do it in our own sort of innovation and R&D departments that are a little bit outside of these larger sort of running efficient machines, if you like. And I'm not with that suggesting that people in factories and those sorts of areas can't innovate, but it's the speed and the mindset and the vision, and the sort of thing that you get. You need to create a slightly different environment. And companies like Siemens and I've spoken to just last week actually, I was at a fascinating event on exactly that topic, and there was people like Google there, and the head designer of Apple was there, and we were talking about all this. And in those organizations it's exactly the same. You have to create slightly different environments for different things. I mean, one thing, by the way, which I've always said and I found very interesting, is that actually the German sort of culture of engineering and sometimes the British slightly more innovative, slightly more creative, it's actually a rather fantastic recipe. And actually that's one of the reasons why Siemens UK and Siemens Germany has always got on rather well, because we can use these strengths rather well. So very often we do use sort of a slightly more local innovative creative front end onto some sort of more mass-produced standardization that might be coming out of Germany. So sometimes you can use cultures to help you with that as well.
And international perspectives presumably are leading to a great deal more cross-fertilization.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and this is also, I mean, you raised the question of diversity. I have always believed in, in strong diversity within management teams and within your workforce altogether. And I was very lucky, actually. My first sort of, more senior management job was in this factory that I keep talking about in Congleton, and it was just such a wonderful experience, because the managing director was Portuguese. I was sort of, a British, German, Austrian. Then we had a Lebanese guy who was head of sales and marketing globally. We had a British guy who was head of R&D, probably being a little bit more innovative. And we were just such a fun team, to do business together. And it was all of those different perspectives that helped us pull together what was a very successful factory.